What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about the crypto markets. Guys, the CPI data was surprising, and we're going to get into everything that's happened. But fundamentally, the biggest thing is that it declined greater than expected, and more importantly, core inflation didn't change. And currently, markets are pricing in a future Fed move, and that's what I want to talk about. And this is going to be relevant for what happens in the crypto markets over the next month. So pay attention. Before I get into that, I update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. Had you invested $100 into each of these when I released videos about them and you were still holding that crypto, you'd be in profit for around 14K. However, if you'd have cashed out those cryptos in the bull cycle, you'd have been in profit for 123K. That's the difference between a bull cycle and bear cycle, ladies and gents. If you want to see the coins I'm buying up in this bear cycle, the ones that I think are going to make them big gains, the ones that I think are going to be far, far, far bigger achievers than your Bitcoins, then come check out Copy My Crypto. The link's in the description. Everything on the site is verifiable because it's all on YouTube. If you want to see it, and if you read through it and it resonates with you, then come join. If it doesn't, keep watching the channel, because without you guys, there is no channel. All right, let's get into it. So, markets currently have been reacting pretty positively. Well, Bitcoin started the day down. It's received a real positive momentum since the CPI data came out. Ethereum in particular has carried on that surge that it was experiencing midweek and looks to be getting ready to nail a higher high on the daily. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, Bitcoin obviously jumped after the core CPI comes in lower than expected, and that's the important thing. But we'll take a look at what happened. So the core CPI data was unchanged with an increase of 5.9% compared with the expected 6.1% growth, which has been a big relief for markets. So if you're unfamiliar, core CPI is where the volatile, unpredictable components have been removed. So that's your food and your fuel. So when removing food and fuel from the data, they were expecting that it was going to be, the inflation was going to get worse at 6 to 6.1%. The fact that it remained unchanged bodes well. It actually suggests that the Fed's approach is currently working. And I want to get off of the crypto. I want to actually talk about. I'll go to a new page. That's better. Proper data. So, inflation in the US, based on the CPI index, that includes your food and fuel, declined to 8.5%. Now, that's actually better than the market expectation, which was 8.7%. So, it actually means that that the Fed's approach is working. There was a 0.2% drop compared to the expectation, and overall a 0.6% drop. Now, that's pretty damn good. Core CPI, like I said, excludes the volatile food and energy, stayed unchanged at 5.9. And on a monthly basis, core inflation rose by 0.3%, following June's increase of 0.7. So 0.5%, a 0.4% reduction on the increase. That's good. And what is happening right now, our markets are beginning to price in the belief of what the Fed's next move is going to be. So the Fed are going to meet in September. And when the Fed meet, the expectation is now that they're, rather than doing a 75 basis point hike, which we've had 2 months concurrently, we're in fact going to see only a 0.5% rise, because their approach, or a 50 basis point hike, because their approach appears to be working. Now, if that happens, obviously that's currently what is getting priced in. But because that is now the move that's being made, and Bitcoin and Ethereum are looking at trying to tackle higher highs, the probability is now, off of this data, obviously depending on how the daily closes, and The probability seems to be that we're going to see some price appreciation across the month. If Ethereum closes above $1,802 today, I believe it will have made a higher high. So building solid momentum going into the merge. And I've already spoken about Ethereum. We're seeing tons and tons and tons of Ethereum being removed off exchanges into hot and cold wallets. So the selling pressure on Ethereum is being removed more and more and more. The same is not true of Bitcoin in terms of the amount that's being removed. Bitcoin is technically still removing more than it's adding, but it's not to exchanges, but it's not dramatic like what we're seeing with Ethereum. But fundamentally, obviously, Bitcoin leads the market. Now, if Bitcoin can close a daily candle above $23,842, then it's gonna have created a higher high on the daily in the short-term time frame over the past sort of month and a half, 2 months. So what the expectation would be is that Bitcoin is now going to kick on, and we may be looking at it running up to the next sort of key level, which is around 26.5K, where there's a ton of resistance. And 26.5K should see that, I mean, that line of resistance, it may hold, but even if Bitcoin hits it over the course of the next fortnight, we're probably going to see Bitcoin bounce back down. But overall, very, very surprising, because fundamentally every single market expectation we've had over the past 3 months have been wrong, and they've been wrong for bad reasons. You know, the market expectations last month were that inflation wasn't going to get as bad as it did. In fact, inflation worsened, obviously, and the same was true in June. So to have, sorry, got myself muddled. The same was true in May. So May and June we had really bad forecasts where inflation worsened and core CPI worsened, and core inflation rather worsened. This is the first month where inflation has actually, the resulting inflation has actually been better than the market expectation. So we've seen overall markets start bouncing today as a result of this. Now, this video, to be fair, will probably end up going out to midday-ish tomorrow. So hopefully the same still remains true. But if we are seeing higher highs on the daily for Bitcoin, higher highs on the daily for Ethereum, wouldn't be surprised if we see a very, very positive Thursday and Friday. And going into next week and the week after, we're really seeing some strong moves from both coins, with Bitcoin probably being able to run up about another 10% before key resistance. And obviously, if that does happen, altcoins are going to react very, very positively. So it's something to watch out for, because obviously, if you're positioned in altcoins, this might be quite a real positive for people. But we've got to see how it all goes. Currently, Bitcoin, as I'm filming this, is dropping back down and starting to get to lower than 23,800. So it does have to rally at least sort of $63 or so from where it is right now to make the high. Ethereum is fine right now at its level, but it does need to be above $1,802, I believe, for a higher high. So the way the Bitcoin and Ethereum close tonight is going to give us a good indication of what's to come, based on momentum going into the end of this week and the following week. So it's interesting, but it's nice to see that the inflation concerns are starting to, most certainly that the approaches are starting to work. I'm not the Fed's fan by any or biggest fan, or even a fan by any stretch of the imagination, but to see that their approach is working looks good. And considering the Bank of England's soft approach that we've seen, where it's been 0.25 month on month, except for last month, it does feel rather telling that we may end up seeing the Bank of England as well start hiking a little higher and matching the Fed's approach, because inflation in the UK is way above where things are at right now in America. So yeah, so surprising. So off of this data, how do you guys feel about the crypto market? Are you feeling bullish for this month? Do you think we're going to have a really positive August? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's it from me, folks. Hope you're all keeping well. And guys, if you want to see the coins that I'm buying up in the spare cycle, the ones I believe will do the crazy good gains, the 40x's, the 50, the 100. Like I said with Phantom, where I did a whole frigging course for $20, saying this is going to be the best investment in the year and it will 100x. And I said it, and it did it. It did 677. If you want to see the coins I believe that can make the massive gains in the next bull cycle, click the link in the description, go to the site. Everything's verifiable. You can go onto YouTube and check it. And if it resonates with you, join me. If it doesn't, please continue watching the channel, because I've said it before, I'll say it again. Without you guys, there is no channel. Take it easy. Bye-bye.